Hello, Halos Gaming here, bringing you another burner guide. Today we have an Anomic-based Serpentis, or the Talos mission, in a Phantasm. It's a cheaper fit than what we were doing in the demos, and since the demos got nerfed, we had to kind of improvise and learn something new, and we found that the Phantasm fits the world really well. Alrighty, so for the fitting, we have a Phantasm, and the reason that we picked the Phantasm for burner Talos is because it has an Afterburner bonus and it has a medium turret tracking bonus. It's not as important as the Afterburner bonus, but it's still really helpful. And then it has a roll bonus, which basically makes it so it has double the guns that it had before, or effectively double the guns. 150% medium energy turret damage. And it has enough fitting to make all the things happen that we need it to do. For the fitting itself, we are using heavy pulse lasers. You can't kite or snipe from a range, so pulse lasers are essential. In the rig slots, we've picked low friction nozzle joints to make our agility a little bit better. We can turn angles better and accelerate faster with this. We have a thermal shield enforcer because we need to make our thermal resistance higher, as well as our kinetic. And then a capacitor control circuit to give us a little bit more flexibility in our capacitor and allow us to run things longer than shorter. In the mid slots, we have 3 hardeners, a thermal, a kinetic, and a second kinetic. And then they're split up in a way that allows us to overheat them a lot. In the event that we get in danger or whatnot, we can overheat quite a bit. And then for a shield booster, we have a Guristas large. You can upgrade this if you'd like, as well as the hardeners. And then we have a Republic Fleet large cap battery and a tier 2 afterburner. You can either downgrade or upgrade this. I'd recommend going with either a Dead Space or a faction if you're going to change this from the Tech 2, because the speed is what's really important. Anything that increases speed will help you a lot. And then in the low slots, we have 3 heat sinks, damage control, again, to buff that resist just a little bit more, and then buy us a lot of time if we end up in whole armor. It'll buy us a lot more time to fix our mistake. And then an overdrive injector to make our ship a little bit faster. It's a really simple fit. It's relatively cheap at 337 million ISK an hour for doing burner Talos, a mission that makes 42 million ISK on average and can make quite a bit more in loot. For drones, we bring Hobgoblins. You don't need to keep the drone bay full, but it is helpful. I guess you only get 3 drones. And I've already done the demonstration video, and I was like, I have 3 drones because 1 died. I guess I had 3 drones because that's all that you get in the in this burner. However, the drones are just kind of throw out. They will die frequently if you use them. So I recommend using tier 1 instead of tier 2. And that's really it for the fit. It's a pretty simple fit. Alrighty, so for fighting this one, you're going to land in a grid of a bunch of turrets. All these turrets, if you get close to them, will start doing EM damage. We really don't want that as we're a shield tank. So we're going to kind of set a path out in kind of like a 45. I particularly like this star. And we're going to turn on our tank right away. We have more tank than we need. So as we get shot, we're going to run this in bursts because we're not cap stable. Remember in the fitting that we just went over, it's not cap stable. So we need to pulse our repper as needed. And then we're just going to kind of get out of this cube of death without getting close to these. We just keep on moving. Eventually what will happen is we will get kind of right here where we cross this guy right here, and then we're going to kind of turn and spiral in to the first Talos. We have to kill all 3 of them. They all 3 sensor damp right when you land in, and this is why we can't snipe them. And then they also scram you when you get, or they don't scram you, they disrupt you when you get close. So you can't warp off once you actually engage, but at any time before you get close to them, you can decide to warp off. Just really hard to find a line. The reason I go to the right is because I've just kind of made a habit of that. You want to either go right or left and then keep your transversal up. So as we cross this guy here, we're clear of the field at this point. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called spiraling in. I want to get close to that guy, but I don't want to approach him. So I'm going to pick like a 45 or so degree angle, and we're going to kind of start going towards him. We don't want to just go like this and select him in orbit, because what can happen is we can get an orbit that's flat in a circle like this, and then when you're going in this direction, you're directly approaching this Talos, and you die. So you want to be very careful about your piloting and make sure your transversals stay up. So as we get closer, again, we're at 74 now. You can see we're not flying very much at him. We're going to go ahead and, again, what's called spiraling in. We're just going to kind of click between where we're going and where he's going, and we're going to cut our angle in half. And then as we get closer, that angle will spread out again, and we'll cut in half again. And then once we get within 37 or 21, we'll actually be able to lock him. And now we're taking some damage. We're going to go ahead and rep that damage up a little bit. Is this guy doing damage to us right now? We're not quite under his guns, and I did pick a slightly steep approach angle here. So what I can do when I feel like I'm in trouble is I can broaden the angle again. And we're almost in range. And so now that we're in range, I'm going to kind of go up, and we're going to set a manual orbit. So our goal is going to be to look at these two. We need to keep the transversal up on both of these. So we're kind of going to go up, and then we're going to circle like this so that our transversal stays up on both. And then we're also going to lower our velocity a little bit to about 850 so that we can maintain that. And then we don't want to make turns greater than about 90 degrees at a time. Because if you make a 180 turn, your ship will stop. And then these two will have high transversal against you. So we're going here. I kind of make a box. I don't make a circle. So I don't like to click a lot. So we're going to make another 90-degree turn here. And we took a really nice hit. We can maintain this while we're fighting it. So I can go ahead and shut that off a little bit. The closer we are, I believe the more damage we do. We can launch our drones if we want to. I turned off my repper. I set the drones on it. Our range is 7 to 14, so we don't need to get much closer than 7. And just like that, it's dying. We're having a pretty good time here. We're going to get ready to make our next 90-degree turn here. Kind of pointing over the Talos. And one of these is switched over to the drones. And the fact that it's on the drones mitigates a lot of the damage that's coming in for us. And then what we got to be careful of is when this thing actually dies, it's going to, our drones will stop moving and they'll die. That's why I have 2 instead of 5, or 3 instead of 5, because I let them die on accident. Just going to continue going. We got a little bit too close. That's okay. We're going to get ready to make our next 90-degree turn here. There we go. And now the most dangerous part of this mission, 100%, is the loot sequence. So we want to make sure we make our turns just like we were and keep our transversal up with these two. Because if we get lax right now, they will kill us. It will become a problem. So we're going to kind of go up here. Again, not trying to make more than 90-degree turns. We're still going slower, and we want to check this wreck, as this wreck has a fairly high chance of having good loot. Go ahead and open it. See if there's anything good. There's not. And now we have to make our turns to approach the next Talos, which will be this guy here. We're going to kind of set the drift out this way. Again, we made a little bit more than a 90-degree turn. So we're probably going to take some damage here. We'll just go ahead and rep up a little bit while we're doing that. And then we're going to continue flying towards the second one. So this first Talos is by far the most dangerous. But what I find a lot of people doing is once they kill this first one, they start to feel a little secure. And they get comfortable, and then they screw up the approach on the second one. Once you've killed the second one, it's even more secure. But now we're just going to kind of make our way towards the next one. Again, just kind of spiraling in. We never want to directly approach a Talos. It will tear your face off if you directly approach it. It will be a bad time. I promise you. I can't think of a ship that can tank one of these on direct approach. So the reason these are so deadly is they're Taloses that cheat. They have blaster damage at 200 kilometers. They do roughly 1,000 DPS each before your resistances, which means in order to tank just one of them, you have to have 1,000 DPS tank. You're not tanking that in a cruiser. You're just not. It's not going to happen. So our survival method, what keeps us alive, is the fact that we have a relatively low signature radius, and we have some transversal to help with that signature radius. And that makes them mostly miss us. But if we directly approach them, that transversal means nothing. And again, on the timings for running out of cap, you can run everything but your guns for 3.5 minutes. And if you shut off the booster, you have plus 31 cap. So that gives you a lot of flexibility in being able to turn the cap on and off. And you can run it for quite a while. With everything running, you last for 2 minutes. But again, if we pulse this, oops, no, we don't want to offline that. Simulate. If we pulse this with this off, we have plus 17 cap. So we end up in a pretty good spot once we're actually close. So we're going to get the lock again, and then we're going to maintain a spiral. And remember, we want the orbit that we set here to keep our transversal high with this Talos. Since we only have one to worry about right now, it's a lot easier than it was for the first one. But we want to really make sure that our orbit or our transversal with this Talos remains high. We're under this one's guns. It's not going to hurt us. So we'll be okay on that front. We just want to make sure that our transversal with this guy stays up. And the transversal is really important. The transversal is how far or how quickly you're moving angularly to it. And so I want to kind of keep that up. At least it's something. So right now our transversal for it is 605. And if it's more than 0, you're probably going to be okay. You just never want it to be 0 or close to 0, as you'll have a bad time. So we're going to kind of go this way. We're going to kind of establish an orbit around this guy. Again, manual of piloting to make sure that we're good. And then we're just going to kind of make our 90-degree turns so that we don't stop moving. And then it's almost dead. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go like straight towards it here so I can check that loot a little bit quicker. On the second one, I'm not so worried about making sure that our transversal is super high as I am with trying to get the loot to be ours. And then now we're going to go ahead and spiral in on the third one, set our speed back up to full. So if you notice, once I got close, I lowered the speed a little bit. It's to improve my tracking a little bit better. So that we can actually apply our damage wall. And we're just going to keep on carrying out towards this third Talos, and then rinse and repeat just like we did for the first two. If you want to be super fancy, you can overheat the Afterburner and then repair it when you're fighting the third Talos, or fighting the second and third. But I'm not too concerned about that. And then... yeah. Oh, no, we don't want to approach it. Remember, I accidentally approached. We definitely don't want to approach. You can get a fancier Afterburner, which would be the #1 upgrade for this to increase your speed, which makes these kind of long transversals a little bit quicker. We're going to go ahead and spiral in. We're almost to it. We're about under its guns. So at this point, I have no problem setting my... orbit at 7 kilometers, because this is the third one. There's not another one to mess with me. And then we can set our velocity down to like 600 and just knock it out really quickly. All right, we're going to go ahead there. We're going to throw our drones to make it a little bit quicker. And that's pretty much it. We've beat all 3 of them. Our shields never really went past half. And we did pretty good. We also still have room to overheat all of these modules. You could overheat the Repper, you could overheat the Hardeners if you find yourself in a dangerous spot when you get to low armor. That is 100% a thing. So it's almost down. I think I set orbit to 7. I'm wondering why we're getting close to it and not tracking. I'm shooting my Hobgoblin so I can just relax a little bit. This guy's almost down. As soon as he goes, he's shooting my drones. So I'm getting a little complacent here. I shouldn't, but what I can do is I can approach to make the application a little bit better because he's shooting my drones. But for sake of being a good example, we're just going to continue orbiting. We could lower our speed a little bit. If he does start damaging you and starts hitting you, you just set speed full and you'll be okay. But he's just about done. Go ahead and pull in our drones. Check the cargo. I can set my speed back up here. and we'll see what we get, if we get anything. Sometimes we get good loot. We got a Guardian Iron Charge, but these guys do drop good loot. And that's it for the demonstration of combat. Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. This was a fun video to make. Part of it was recorded live on stream, and I really enjoyed doing that. If you guys like this video, make sure you like and comment and subscribe. And watch the old video on doing this one. I've got 2 other videos on doing this burner. If you're unsure of how to fly around and spiral in, there's a couple more demonstrations there. I do want to say thank you to the commenter that led me to begin doing this. You can find that in the in the previous video, the Burners 2020 series with Demos. Him and I did some development in the comments there if you want to check that out. Make sure you guys fly fun, enjoy your time in EVE Online, and continue bringing each other up. I love seeing it, and I love seeing more of it. Keep it up, guys, and fly fun.